We're back.
Welcome back to the RP.
We got coffee.
Masters Week.
It is Masters Week. We should have moved the Masters flag.
There it is.
Over. You've attended Augusta before.
I was there for like 2 hours and got rained out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I did see an article yesterday written about whatever you thought your merchandise budget was, multiply it by 150%. Is that accurate?
That's or 200.
All right.
And it's a free for all in there. It's like that Guy Fieri shopping, like you're walking through and picking stuff up.
Well, you can't buy there's not like officially licensed stuff outside of Augusta, right?
That's right. You can buy knockoff Temu Augusta stuff.
Oh, I mean, everyone loves a little Temu Augusta.
Right.
Is Temu even going to be a thing anymore?
I don't know.
We don't know. But it's Masters Week. It's the official start of that transition from spring to summer. I feel like. Right?
Oh, it feels so good outside.
It's gonna be 68 degrees. You got the almost in summer form here.
Oh, we're getting close. Boats going in, golf's happening. But what's this got to do with mortgages, Tony?
Nothing. That's why I don't even like talking about mortgages today. I'd rather talk about golf. But the Masters. I read another article about Augusta here. Extending a couple holes by another 10 or 20 yards this year and trying to keep up with new clubs, technology, golf balls. I did read something about rolling back tournament golf balls now. Anything to shorten to make the course feel longer. But who do you think's going to win here? We got Scotty's the favorite by about a 2-1 margin here over John Rahm.
I like Justin Rose. He's coming like second, third. But Rory could come back too because now he's won it. He's less stressed out. He might play better golf. That's a
good bargain bet for the people that are spending their down payment money on
trying to double up.
It's a plus 1,100 on Rory there. So we'll talk about that. But where does this have to do with mortgages? Well, we've obviously named this thing not another 3-putt here. Home buyers maybe aren't losing deals because they hit necessarily a bad shot, but maybe
they're 3-putting on the green.
Ooh, what is that? Honestly, I think that's why we named it this, but the most frustrating thing in the world, a 3-putt.
It's terrible, especially when you read the putt right, but you just hit it too hard. It's just like you don't see it coming. You're on the green, you're thinking you're up and down for 2, and then all of a sudden, no, there's a double bogey.
It evaporates. We talk about people like, a great drive, but a 3-putt evaporates the great drive.
Yeah,
it is the equalizer, the scorecard trasher for sure. But buying a house isn't about being perfect, though, right? It's about not making that mistake that maybe kills the deal, right?
And what kind of mistakes are they making?
Well, all kinds of them. But the biggest one I think that we run into immediately is the first question being asked is, what's your rate?
Right.
And I think that you also probably get that on the insurance side of things too, right? Like what's my premium or what is my insurance rate going to be, right?
Yeah.
But just like in insurance and in mortgage, a rate without context is useless, right? We don't know your credit situation. We don't know your objectives. We don't know what type of house you're buying. There's a million different things.
It's like being 200 yards out and saying, well, I'm automatically going to hit my 3-iron or whatever. And then you haven't even looked at where the traps are. You don't know where the hazards been. You don't know where the hole is in relation to where you're going.
It's going for being on the green in 2 on a par 5.
Yeah.
You're hitting a high risk shot with a low probability of a quality answer, right?
Exactly.
That's maybe the best way to explain it. So when we talk about insurance though, right? Like you're also dealing with, what are we comparing against? Replacement cost, actual cash value?
Yeah, you're looking at what the cost is or the premium, but you don't know what that's paying for. So you don't know what you're getting for that. So it's almost, when people ask, well, this is what I'm paying? Well, what if it's not what you should be paying?
So and if I'm reaching out to you about insurance, my conversation is, hey, Adam, this is what I own. This is what I'm worried about.
Right.
Is there anything else I need to bring up in that conversation?
Yeah. I mean, we'll guide you from there. We might know things or see things you don't even see. That's what the value we add is. So yeah.
And I think that on the mortgage side of it, right? Like just immediately saying, hey, I want the lowest interest rate. Well, let's talk about how do we get that? What are the costs? Can we deploy your dollars elsewhere? So context is huge, right? I think the other side of it, right? Oh, my driver's my best club. Well, what happens when you're on a 125-yard par 3?
Right.
Or that one at Lincolnshire that is a 90-yard and straight down. You're not
Downhill.
Go ahead, hit a driver there. It'll be on the other side of the road. Second mistake though, buyers falling in love with the principal and interest number only, and we see this a lot. We get the question, well, I'm not going to escrow my taxes and insurance. Escrowing taxes and insurance, taking your tax amount, dividing it by 12, putting 1/12 of that in an account with the lender every month, so that when the taxes come due, they're paid. Same thing with insurance, right? That doesn't mean that you don't have that liability.
Right. Just because it's removed from the equation doesn't mean you're not paying it.
How many times, and maybe, I don't know if you can actually answer this, but how many times do you deal with someone that is waiving escrows and maybe forgets that their insurance comes due?
All the time.
That creates a pretty big problem for you guys,
because,
right?
you know, we talked about how people can't budget or they're not good at it. And then all of a sudden they get to March 15th and they owe $2,000 that they don't have. Then what do they got to do?
And that's the biggest part of it, right? Is maybe it's not your actual payment, but it's part of your payment.
Right.
And we see that too. The other thing we see a lot is, these online aggregators of home listings publishing payments on there. And people fall in love with that idea.
I've seen that, like the Z word, right?
Yeah, the Z word, the R word. Well, not that R word. But
this home could be yours for $1,500 a month.
You can actually,
where do they even get that?
You can actually sort the homes instead of by prices. You can sort them by projected payments. So what they do is they assume in those cases 25 to 30% down payment. So you have to like scroll through. You got to click about 3 different sub menus to get to what the assumptions are there.
Yeah.
And I've seen a few of these too, and this might make people cringe a little bit, but we see homeowners insurance in there quoted at stuff like on a 2,000 square foot house at stuff you can't even get HO6 or walls in coverage
like
for.
$300 or something.
I've seen one, a 3,000 square foot house had an assumption of homeowners insurance of $48 a month.
Well, that's probably not going to work.
Yeah, so again, opening up the conversation, right? Again, context, then strategy, not, or I guess, right, that's probably the right word, context and strategy versus just what's the lowest rate or what's my payment, right? Then the pre-approval.
Oh gosh.
Or the consultation with insurance, right? Like this is where we map out the strategy. You talk about the objectives, or we talk about, in your case, we talk about what you own, what you want to protect, how you want to protect it, what you want to buy, how you're going to buy it, where are we going to get the money from, where are we going to deploy the assets, right?
So what's the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved? What does that mean?
That's a very nuanced detail, my friend.
Words matter.
Yeah. So, well, they're actually legally defined.
Yeah.
So pre-qualification means that you've told me what you make. You've told me what you have in the bank. I haven't verified any of it.
You're going to trust my word.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a letter so you can go look at houses.
Exactly.
Okay.
And a astute listing agent would look at a pre-qual with an offer and go, no, thanks. Like get serious with this. And in a market with constrained inventory and good homes going for, whatever, going quickly normally, they're going to go, yeah, be serious. So pre-approval means that you've told me everything, then you've provided me all the documentation, I've verified or validated all of this. And that's the difference. Like our pre-approvals, I know that we don't operate in Arizona all of the time, but our pre-approvals are designed like Arizona's loan status updates. So it tells us that we've verified your assets, your credit, your income, and we had a consultation. That's the other part that I think we see a lot of times on the low rate approach is, hey, Adam, here's your pre-approval.
Yeah, go ahead.
Call me when you're under contract.
And then they think they're good.
Yep.
Because the loan guy said, I'm good, but the loan guy hasn't even looked. They hasn't found the problem yet.
And we haven't talked strategy. I mean, there's a lot of times, right? If you're going to be spending 300, 400, $1 million, like, don't you want a strategy?
I would think so.
Like there's a lot of little things, right? We had a client a couple of weeks ago, and he's not a client anymore, quite frankly, but we had a conversation about how to deploy dollars from a sale to free up his budget. And he was convinced that he needed to pay all of these points to buy his interest rate down on his mortgage. I was like, hey, we can actually take that $12,000 that you want to pay in points and knock out $8,000 of bad credit card debt. That's at 30%, but we're worried between like a 6.5 and a 6. That's where the strategy comes in, right? That's where you're looking at it going, okay, I'm downwind, or the grass. We hear Phil Mickelson talk about, when you play around in the morning, like the dew creates different spin situations.
Yeah. It's almost like, to me, like when I play with someone who's better than me at golf, I enjoy it because I ask them like, well, what are you thinking? What's your strategy? How would you hit this shot? And I don't have that knowledge. So I need to get that. And it feels like that's the same with you.
That's it. Like playing, doing finance, doing insurance with a caddy, or the playing pro, any of those things, right? It's something that really, really enhances it. I would bet that if you looked at your rounds played with someone substantially better than you versus someone equal or maybe a little worse, you're probably playing up to that.
Well, what they do is they just don't get in as much trouble. They just don't make the mistakes, and they have a strategy to avoid the mistakes, and that's really what we're trying to do.
Leave yourself in a situation to 1 putt, 2 putt it, and
Get up and down.
that 3 putt, and you're not doing the
Close
you know,
the deal.
our one other fan, Adam Lubert, as he calls his biography, from birdie to bogey.
Yeah, there you go.
The old 3 putt. But anything else?
No, man, that's it.
All right, Masters Week, we're out.
I'm officially picking Rory.
All right, you going Rory?
I'm going Rory.
All right, he good Irishman. Huh?
All right,
I'm thinking John Rahm. We're out of here.
Really, you think Rom?
No.
I'm done. Cut the show.